Welcome to Live, Love, Engage, the podcast where we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. I am your host, Gloria Grace Rand, the Insightful Copywriter and founder of the Love Method. My mission is to help you stop doubting yourself so you can live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically. Oops, there we go. Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Live, Love, Engage. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I've made sure today that my mic is not muted. In case you were watching last week, you might have seen that because I was recording this live and did not have the mic ready. So today, what are we talking about today? Today, I'm going to be talking about hindsight is 2020. And I'm not actually talking about the pandemic when I'm talking about this, because I know, with the year 2020, the year of the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But no, I'm talking about this more in relationship to the signs that we see in our own lives and I guess the advantage sometimes of as you get older and looking back and seeing signs that you weren't necessarily aware of at the time, but with the benefit of hindsight, you can now see clearly that 2020 vision and see clearly that there were things happening in your life that that led you to where you are today. And to give an example of this, I recently had my book published, Live, Love, Engage, same name of this podcast, How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. And in the book, I realized that I may have painted a little bit of a one-sided picture of my mom. God rest her soul. She was like, so many of us had her flaws, but also had a lot of good points. And I mentioned, well, I guess I did sort of 50-50. I mentioned one instance in the book. Well, it was probably a little bit more on the negative side towards her, unfortunately. She did have a temper, and she would, had like to yell frequently, and even actually struck me one time. But she also did really great things for me. And one of the best was when she divorced me to move to Florida when we were still living in Michigan. And when I was graduating from college, she said, I'm divorcing you, Gloria. You need to move on, start your life and stop, taking care of me, because I was kind of helping her out a lot. And that was truly a huge gift that she gave me. And last week I think I was out for a walk and just started reflecting that the spiritual journey that I've been on, I've sort of said that it was especially catalyzed when my sister was diagnosed with cancer in 2015. And that's really what ended up sparking the idea for the book. But when I look back with hindsight at growing up, I realized that my mom was on a spiritual journey as well, and she took me with her in some respects, and planted seeds in my own spiritual development when I was in 5th grade, for instance, because I remember at that time she got interested in the charismatic movement in the Catholic Church. And for those of you who may not know what that means, is it refers to people who are speaking in tongues. And for those of you who are in the Christian faith, you know that on Pentecost Sunday, the apostles, Jesus's apostles, this was after the resurrection, they were, I guess, at a big gathering with people from all over different parts of the world were there. And as the apostles started to speak, there were people there who heard the apostles speaking in their language, even though there were lots of different languages being represented by the people who were there. So anyway, this charismatic movement involved people speaking in tongues, like speaking in foreign languages. And I remember as a kid, my mom took me to one of these churches, and very strange, as a, let's see, how old was I? 10, 11 years old, think it was a little weird. And, but nevertheless, that seed was planted. And another seed was the fact that my mom subscribed to the Daily Word from Unity. And for those of you who are regular subscribers to my podcast, you know that from time to time I actually do share the Daily Word from Unity. I love back in the day, and they still do, they do publish a hardcover version of the book that you can read, and that was what my mom got. But of course, today, the app, they have an app on your phone, and I can just press the little Daily Word symbol on my phone, and I have today's daily word. So, for instance, today is, as I'm recording this, it's April 12th, and the word for the word for today is inner peace. I think I could use a little inner peace right now. But anyway, so that was another seed that was planted in my spiritual journey, that because I was aware of that as a kid, I saw the Daily Word in our house growing up, that my mom would read it. Years later, a few years back, I was at another conference and someone mentioned unity, and it rang this bell in my head, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, unity, Daily Word. Yeah, my mom was interested in that when I was a kid. And so I actually started attending Unity churches for a while here in the Orlando, Florida area, and got a lot of benefit out of that. I really love Unity. And in fact, I even have on my desk, I have taped Unity's 5 basic principles as a reminder for me, because they are really very important and very profound. And I think what I'll do is I'll even share one of them. And the third principle, I think, which is good for today. It says, we create our life experiences through our way of believing, thinking, and acting. And isn't that true? Isn't that true? And that again is, I think, sort of the point I want to make today is that when we do look back and see different things that, maybe we were thinking about, or different ways that we start to believe, that then actually does have an impact on what we do, how we act. And so it's good. It's good to know that. And I think actually the important thing is that if you don't like the life experience that you're having right now, then it requires perhaps changing some of those thoughts and beliefs and actions, because then you have the power to create the life that you want to lead. You have that power right now. So those were a couple of the signs that I realized that, again, that my mom had actually, I think that's part of the gift that she gave me, was that I realized in her 50s as well, she had me late in life. And so she was on a spiritual journey just like I have been on. I think there's something that happens to us in our 50s, I guess, if we haven't done it earlier. And I do know lots of young people who do get on this journey a lot earlier than I did. But it is interesting that I'm sort of following in my mom's footsteps and embarking on this real discovery about what I want to believe and what I choose to believe now. So let's see. So what actually is the point of all of this today? I feel I've been rambling a little bit today. I guess my point is to encourage you to reflect on your life. Reflect on, go back in time and see if there are signs that are pointing you that in a certain direction that maybe you didn't realize at the time. I know some of the other things that I talk about in my book is the fact that when I was in school, in college, I decided to major in business administration because I thought it would be useful to get a job. I don't know. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but that was what I started my major in. And then didn't do very well in economics and the math subjects, calculus, bane of my existence. So I wound up on academic probation because I was doing very badly in those courses, and wound up going to a counselor, career guidance counselor, and at the college, and took an aptitude test and realized that I would be better served with a major in mass communications. And so that's what I wound up doing. I wound up changing my major to mass communications, with radio, TV, film as the emphasis. And that led me to getting a job in television, where I actually wound up working for the nightly business report. So even though I didn't want to major in business administration, I wound up working for a business show. And then, of course, that all seemed to work out perfectly because now I'm in business for myself. So all of these little seeds that were planted, I didn't realize at the time that it was all serving a purpose. And now, when I worked in television, I never wanted to be in front of the camera like I am today, but now I do enjoy it. And so now I think, again, because of the background, the training I had, learning about television production in school first, and then practically as an employee of a television station and working for a news program, now I got to see all of the benefits and learning how to write for television and the importance of that. So I've been able to use all of those things now. So again, I encourage you to, especially sometimes I think if you are maybe a little bit confused, maybe you're at a crossroads in your life right now, and maybe you've had a change in marital status or a change in your work status. Perhaps you had to pivot in your business in this last year, and you're not quite sure where you want to go from here. So I would encourage you to reflect on your life and see if you can look at different events in your life and see if you can pick up clues that might give you a new direction for today, or maybe just confirm that you're even in the right direction because you have taken all of these different steps and different things happened along the way that now seem quite serendipitous that all of these things happened. So that's my intention for you today. And I'm just going to pop up this little ticker here real quick, just as a reminder to you. If you are not subscribed to the podcast yet, I encourage you to do so. We are on all of the major platforms like Apple and Stitcher and iHeartRadio and Pandora. And certainly subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, because that's where you'll find the video. And of course, you can also join us live on Mondays at 11:30 Eastern Time from Facebook, where I am doing these live. So I would love to see you here as well. And I think that's going to do it for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. And as always, before I leave you, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.